If you have been a manual or functional tester for more than a few years in banking, healthcare, ERP, insurance, or any other enterprise domain, chances are you have heard something like this. AI is going to automate everything. You need to learn Python or you will be replaced. Manual testing is dead. And honestly, I understand why that feels unsettling. You have spent years building real expertise, understanding business flows, catching cases that no script would ever find, knowing exactly when a fund transfer limit should trigger a compliance alert, and now someone tells you that's going to be irrelevant. In this video, I am going to do something different. No hype, no fear mongering, no 10 AI tools you must learn today. Instead, I am going to give you a clear, honest picture of what AI actually does well, what it generally cannot replace, and more importantly, what that means for your career in 2026 and beyond. Welcome to GenAI Testing Academy. Let me start here. The reason you are valuable isn't just because you write test cases, it's because you understand why those test cases matter. Think about banking. A payment system isn't just enter amount, click submit. You know about maker checker controls, the 4I principle that ensure no single user can authorize a high value transaction alone. You know that a fund transfer above a certain threshold must trigger a compliance flag. You know that if an audit trail entry is missing, that's not just a bug, it's a regulatory finding that could cost the bank million. In healthcare, you understand that a medication ordering workflow isn't just a form. You know about HIPAA consent flows, that patient data cannot move between systems without explicit authorization. You know that drug interaction checks can't just be bypassed because a UI button is there. You know that a missing consent acknowledgement isn't a UX issue, it's a patient safety risk. In ERP, whether it's a SAP, Oracle, or any mid market platform, you understand three-way matching, that a payment shouldn't be released unless the purchase order, the good receipt, and the invoices all align. You know that a tax code miscalculation in a production finance module can cascade into a regulatory filing error. This is your competitive advantage, not just test case count, not just defect discovery rate. It's a judgment behind every test you design, the understanding of what happens to the business if these scenarios fail. That's not automation, that's domain expertise, and it's generally irreplaceable. Now, let's be clear about where AI does add real values, because it does, and ignoring that would be doing you a disservice. Test scenario generation. You paste in a requirements document and AI can quickly surface 20 to 30 initial test scenarios in second. It won't think of everything you would, but it gives you a solid starting draft to refine and expand. Edge case expansion. You write your happy path scenario and you ask AI, what edge cases am I missing for this fund transfer scenario? It will suggest things like, what if the beneficiary account is dormant? What if the amount is exactly at the daily limit boundary? Good starting point that you then validate against your domain knowledge. Requirement summarization. Imagine you have a 45-page BRD. Ask AI to summarize the key business rules, not to replace your reading, but to give you a structured starting map before you dive in. Defect writing. AI can help you write cleaner, more complete defect descriptions, structured with steps to reproduce expected versus actual and environment details in a fraction of the time. Status report, important for leads. Generated draft testing status update from your raw test execution data. Edit, add context, send, done. SQL queries. Need to validate backend data after a transaction, describe what you're looking for, and let AI draft the query. You validate it, you run it, but the grunt work is handled. Next is Jira queries, complex uh, JQL filter for sprint report, defect aging analysis, regression tracking. AI can build these for you, not only for Jira, other test or defect management tools also. Regression suite optimization. Feed AI your test suite list and the recent change log and ask it to prioritize which test to run first given the areas of code that change. Log explanation. Paste in an application error log and ask AI what this error mean and what would cause it. It won't always be right, but it saves you 30 minutes of googling. The pattern is clear. AI compresses the time you spend on mechanical, repetitive, or drafted heavy tasks. That time is freed up for thinking that only you can do. But here is what AI generally cannot do, and this is not a temporary limitation, this is structural. Integration understanding. In an enterprise system, a single transaction touches 6 to 10 modules. When something breaks at the intersections of CRM, ERP, and the payment gateway, understanding why requires someone who knows all three systems and how they talk to each other. AI doesn't have that map of your specific environment. Business judgment. When a test in a war room says, yes, this scenario is technically passing, but it will cause a compliance issue for enterprise clients with this specific configuration. That judgment call doesn't come from a model. It comes from years of working with that domain. AI model won't work here. Stakeholder trust. Business analysts, product owners, compliance team, they sign off on testing quality because they trust you. That trust is earned through conversation, through accountability, through being the person who raised the right concern at the right moment. AI doesn't have a seat at that table. Accountability. When a critical defect escapes to production in a healthcare or banking system, someone has to own the post-mortem, understand the failure, and propose a fix to the governance team. That person needs judgment, not just output. Let me give you some prompts you can actually use right now. These are enterprise specific. Drop them into any AI assistant and adapt to your domain. So here is ChatGPT or any other AI models which you have. So first prompt, review the following business requirement and identifies any ambiguities, missing business rules or testability concern, like anything that would need clarification before test case design begins. And bottom of this, you can paste your requirement or you can further customize this particular prompt. Once you hit on enter, you will get the response. Next is test scenario generation. You can write the prompt, act as senior QA analyst or analyst in a banking domain based on the following feature description for a maker checker fund transfer workflow. Generate comprehensive test scenario covering positive, negative, boundary, and compliance related test cases. And down, you can paste your feature description and then you can validate the response. Next is test case expansion. Expand the following test scenario into a structured test case with preconditions, test steps, expected results, and any relevant data setup node. And down, you can paste your scenario, you will get the response, validate the response, and your test scenario are ready with less effort. Next is defect rewriting. Rewrite the following defect description into a professional bug report format including summary, environment, steps to reproduce expected result, actual result, severity, and any relevant strings note or log note. And down, whatever notes you have created when you found that defect, you can paste those here and your defect summary with steps will be ready. Again, you need to review the response and then only you can use it when you're raising the defect in any of the defect management tool. Next is status reporting, which is very much important within the testing domain. Here is the prompt: generate a professional testing status update for the following sprint based on this data. So that data you can paste here, whether that is the execution summary, open defect, blocker, so any other data. Format it for a project manager audience or leadership audience, concise, factual, risk aware, and you, based on the response, you can review the response, further customize your prompt. So net, you can use these models for the status reporting also. Next is regression optimization. And here is the prompt: given the following list of test cases and the recent change log provided, suggest a prioritized regression test execution order. Focus on the highest risk areas first. And then you can paste the test list here and the change summary. And again, you need to validate the AI model response. And based on that, your work would be done. These prompts work, but they work because you know what to do with the output. That's a skill that compounds over time. So, where should you be investing your energy right now? Here is my honest take: go deeper on domain, not just tools. If you are in insurance, become the person who can explain underwriting workflows, policy endorsement, and claim adjudication logic better than anyone else on the team. If you are in healthcare, understand the full patient journey from registration to billing. That depth compound. Tool trends don't. Develop end-to-end system thinking. Enterprise tester who can trace a transaction from the UI all the way through to the backend ledger entry and to the reporting layer are extraordinary rare. Build that skill. Learn to read API logs. Understand database relationships. Know your integration points. Get comfortable with risk articulation. Can you walk into a steering committee meeting and explain in business terms why a specific untested scenario is a risk to the organization? That skill, translating technical gaps into business consequences, is worth more than any certification. Strengthen your communication. The testers who thrive in the AI era are the ones who can collaborate across teams, write clearly, and advocate for quality at every stage of the SDLC. Those human skills are not going anywhere. Here is what I want you to take away from this video. AI is not coming to take your job. It's coming to take the parts of your job that were never really the valuable parts to begin with. The copy pasting, the template filling, the routine query writing. What's left? The thinking, the judgment, the domain knowledge, the accountability, the trust. You have been building those for years. And in a world where AI handle volumes, the people who understand meaning become more valuable, not less. So don't run from AI. Use it. Learn how to direct it the way you direct a junior team member. Give it a clear context, check its output, and apply your expertise to everything it produces. That's the combination that makes you genuinely hard to replace. If this gave you some clarity today, hit the subscribe button. We publish practical enterprise focused content on AI and testing every week here at GenAI Testing Academy. It's just a start. Drop a comment below and tell me which domains are you in: banking, healthcare, ERP, or something else. And what's one thing you would want to use AI for you in your testing work? Or if you want to use the prompt which I have shown during the demo, you can add your comment and I will reply you back. In the next video, we are going to deep on AI for test planning, how to use AI to build smarter test strategy faster. You don't want to miss that one. I will see you there. Thank you.